Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. Hey, if you're new here, welcome. My name is Scott. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you can do me one favor, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like, subscribe, all of those good things. I greatly appreciate it. But thank you so much for being here today. As you can see, we are highlighting a particular whiskey today from 13th Colony Distillery out of Americus, Georgia. This just happens to be their 15th anniversary that they just released here in March of 2024. They were nice enough to send me a sample, so I wanted to do a review of this just to give you an idea of what it is that 13th Colony is doing outside of maybe some of their double oak, some of their standard bourbons or standard ryes. They also do some incredible single barrel picks. So let's go ahead and talk about today their 15th anniversary bourbon, which comes in at 8 years, 9 months, 139.2 proof. There were upwards of 3,300 bottles within this release. That was distributed through some retail in Georgia and then spread to some of the online retailers for distribution that way. So again, it was an extremely difficult bottle to find, but again, wanted to highlight a little bit about what it was that their 15th anniversary bourbon really kind of had to offer. They utilize a mash bill of 70% corn, 21% rye, 9% malted barley. So with that being said, let's go ahead and waste no more time, kind of dive into this. I'll give you my opinion of what the 15th anniversary 13th Colony bourbon has to offer. So as you can see, first and foremost, look at that beautiful, rich mahogany type of color, moving the whiskey around in the glass. Beautiful legs. So I'm already loving what it is that this is bringing. And again, at 139.2 proof, this is gonna be a big boy. This is gonna hit you probably pretty hard, but I wanted to sit on this thing for a little bit. It has been open in the glass for upwards of about 15 minutes. So we should be kind of hitting its stride right now in terms of it being allowed a little bit of time to kind of open up. So without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the nose. So right away, huge fruit notes. Beautiful chocolate covered strawberry. Nice kind of smoky or barrel influence that's on that. Really nice rye spice. So I feel like on this one, more of that rye spice is really starting to come out. Really rich kind of vanilla custard kind of notes. A little bit of like a pie crust or a doughy aspect to it. There's this real richness that it has to it right away. A really beautiful tobacco note, a lot of leather notes that are there. This feels like a very, I don't want to say traditional kind of nose, but I would say that from the standpoint of it being extremely ramped up. Like so far, this has a big, beautiful, bold nose and profile on it right away. It does have a little bit of that influence of a bourbon that is not coming from a heritage brand. So it does have its unique kind of flavor profile or kind of like its own terroir, something along those lines, but it still has all of those big, rich, bold, beautiful notes that a lot of people who enjoy higher proof whiskey really has. So with that being said, let's go ahead and see what this flavor profile is going to give us here on the 13th Colony 15th anniversary bourbon. Cheers. Really nice, big, bold oak notes without it being overdone. That proof will really kick in, so you have to be a little bit careful with that one right out of the gate. But overall, there's that just beautiful, decadent, concentrated type of flavor profile. Again, like I had mentioned, nice, beautiful, sweet, rich, bold oak, lots of vanillas, custards, big fruits, that kind of chocolate covered cherry, that's there, leathers, tobaccos. This thing is an absolute monster of a whiskey. One thing I like to also highlight with a bourbon, just whiskeys in general, is the mouthfeel that it has. This has a fairly oily, velvety texture with that really beautiful long finish. So this feels like one of those bourbons that as you kind of sit down with it, let it sit in the glass, take your time, it will start to kind of build and evolve a little bit more. But at this proof point, it's not something you really want to rush. But again, kind of going back to that mouthfeel, I think it does have a pretty coating mouthfeel. There's that concentrated effect or feel that it has to it, where this feels like if you wanted to give someone a bourbon but had to add a lot of water to kind of create that flavor profile, you could definitely use this to build upon that. It is extremely, extremely rich, bold, as beefy and as heavy of a bourbon that you're going to probably find. Yeah, so this does, again, like I got on the nose, it is going to give you a slight different flavor profile than maybe some of the heritage brands. Again, Americus Georgia, pretty south in the state of Georgia. So you're going to get a lot of that heat, that influence of the heat on the barrel, and just it being in a different area, it's going to create a slightly different profile. And what it is that they've really become accustomed to, kind of coming off of some of their double oak releases, is they are known for that big, heavy, rich profile, and this definitely follows suit. So for anyone who was able or fortunate enough to get their hands on the 15th anniversary, you have, in my opinion, a pretty special and unique kind of bourbon. This is one that, in my opinion, needs to not only be enjoyed, but enjoyed with other people. Allow them to kind of understand what this is. And again, the fact that great whiskeys can come from other states besides Kentucky, Indiana, things along those lines. And this, again, is 100% proof and evidence that you can have those big, bold, rich profiles come from other states. And what it is, in my opinion, that 13th Colony Distillery is doing is absolutely fantastic. Yeah, for me, the one thing I really truly love is just that kind of buttery feel, those heavy fruit influences, that kind of chocolate covered cherry, plum, dark heavy raisins, things along those lines. This has everything to offer the person that enjoys this kind of profile on a whiskey. So what I would say is, for a lot of the people who are unable to get a bottle like this, keep an eye out for what it is that 13th Colony does. They do kind of send out, I think a couple times a month, a newsletter as to what it is that's going on. And maybe you'll find some their own single barrels that they're releasing. Maybe you'll find a different club pick, something along those lines. And in addition to that, they also have just their great standard bourbon, great rye whiskey. Those are two fantastic values at around $40, that what it is going to give you a slightly different profile, probably not as rich and as heavy as this, but again, it's going to give you a little bit of that profile that 13th Colony is kind of known for. This is a little idea of what you can expect from that 15th anniversary release here from 13th Colony. In my opinion, probably one of the best bourbons I've had so far here in 2024. Everything that it has to offer, in my opinion, is what a lot of people who truly enjoy that big, bold, rich, heavy bourbon profile, this is going to be it in a glass right here. So I want to say thank you so much for tuning in today. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. If you haven't checked out anything from 13th Colony, get on there, check out their website. I think you'll see a little more about what it is that they're doing, what it is that they have to offer. Some fantastic, fantastic things. So with that being said, if you'd like to follow me, you can on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of those places at My Bourbon Journey. If you'd like to help support the channel and become part of the Mash and Journey Whiskey Club, make sure you check out the Patreon link in the description below. That down there, along with other great things for you as well. I would love to know your overall thoughts on, are you one of the lucky ones that got a bottle of the 15th anniversary? If so, leave a comment below. Let me know your thoughts. Is that something that you are really enjoying, or is it something maybe not for you, but would love to hear your thoughts on that as well. And with that, remember, it's about the journey and not the destination. Cheers.
Sipping whiskey from a Dixie cup, hell yeah, that's my kind of country. Rodeo buckles, worn out boots, wide open fields, small town roots. We like to eat what we shoot. country.